Sairam, this is a very million-dollar question. Is it permissible to use cinema songs in plays in the center? Is it? Oh. Our Balvikas coordinator has even banned us from listening to cinema songs at home. Banned us from listening to cinema songs at home.
I'll have no work. That happens.
Yeah. Brother, you're banned. Next time don't come to this country. Okay, to be honest...
Powerful is unemployed, you know. Please allow him to sing some cinema songs also. Not in the Sai Bhajan, but outside.
Now open bracket, close bracket. I think this must be written by a Balvika student, because to be honest, actually we do listen. So brothers, please clarify. Actually, we love the songs. You people have inserted in your play yesterday also we put some cinema song. Is it okay? Is it alright? Please explain.
Let me discuss now, not in terms of a singer singing popular songs in the world, but as a Sai, this thing. You don't sing cinema song during a bhajan session. One thing every adult must understand, we are not the children, we are not here to stunt their development, okay? We are not here to make them very unusual, funny people in the world. Let them enjoy this. Do you know that the popular songs, pop songs are more omnipresent than God today? Supermarket you go, everywhere you go, they're hearing this, so don't stop them. These pop songs come and go, they're temporary waves. But the God songs will remain forever. Let them enjoy that. I was a big Elvis Presley fan. Till today I listen to all the pop songs, all the film songs. So you can drama, that's all you can do. In fact, sometimes some sessions I address some Tamil devotees. I'll start standing there and sing, Manidan Inbavan, Devamagam, all kinds of singing. Yeah, but as long as there's a lot of beautiful God songs, in the movies, songs for mother's love, father's love, this all you can use, because what is the reason for that? Just to get that feeling, it emerges. So this is something, please don't stop them, let them listen. I guarantee you the pop songs come and go. Lady Gaga tomorrow will be Gaga already, gone already.
To me,
Dear devotees, Swami was asked this question as well. And the response that Bhagavan gave, hello. No, the response that Swami gave was that the reason and purpose that the film song has been produced is very different to that of a bhajan. And Swami said if you sing, some people, sometimes what some centers are doing all over the world, and I've stopped this from happening, is that they use the tune of a movie song, and instead of someone else's name, they put Swami's name in that. Okay, you know what happens in that instance? Is that if you sing a movie song in a bhajan, and if you've heard that song before, and you sing that movie, you will not think of Swami at that point in time. You will think of the movie or the actor or the actress, I guarantee you. So the bhava is most important thing. So please don't do that. Please don't bring in those movie songs to your bhajans. Create new bhajans. We can create so many new bhajans if you want. But please don't bring cinema songs into the two sides. Don't bring the cinema tunes into our bhajans, because the whole bhava factor is removed from that.
So in short, movie songs will come and go, God songs will come and grow. So many French philosophers say that. Okay, many who do not know Swami's belief, many who do not know Swami believe that the world will end in December this year. This is one of the reasons we are not having convention every year. But is it just a spiritual issue or crisis? What will be our roles according to Swami in the coming of the new age? What is our role in the new age?
If it's going to end, I don't think we'll be able to do anything about it. So why worry about something that we cannot control? But as far as our roles are concerned, I think Brother Jaga has been putting it across very nicely. It's not something that we have to start now because some new age has come. All of us who say that we are Sai devotees and we are committed to Swami's love and name should take on the responsibility every moment of our days to go out and live his message. It doesn't have to start tomorrow or day after or because of some new age is starting, but it has to be every moment of our life that we are living on this earth.
Thank you.
Brother Suresh, can I say?
No, please, why not?
Dear devotees, I don't share this point often, but because it's come up, maybe Swami has willed. After Mahasamadhi, I asked Swami in a dream, Swami, you said 96, you left 85. I don't quite understand the early departure. Swami said, do not try and understand me. But he said something which every devotee must know. This ending of the world phenomena is not going to happen. Because Swami has taken the collective pain of the entire world and transformed to his body and has destroyed his body. That is what has happened. He, just like Christ came, he takes the suffering of all of humanity. And Swami has done exactly the same thing, dear devotees. He has taken the pain, taken all this negativity upon himself and is left. So we must do all that we can for the new age now. The golden age is now here.
I suppose, thank you. Then this question, the advent of Prema Sai, did Swami mention in any of his discourses that he will reincarnate as Prema Sai? Though much has been written in books. And please don't keep on saying we are Prema Sai.
But we are. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, this one. Swami did, but he said it many years ago, many years ago, that I will reincarnate as Prema Sai. He said that. But what my message, this is definitely Swami's words. All of you can vouch for the deep, so please say this. My point is, we need not wait for the Prema Sai to come. We must become the Prema Sai. I am I. That is what we must do.
Some devotees around the world have been saying, Satya Sai will come back again. Some people are waiting. All these books are published. Dear devotees, do not focus on these things. Focus on the work of Swami. If Swami will come back, fantastic. Don't hold your breath for it. What we must do is, if Swami comes back after 2 years, he'll ask, Bangaru, what did you do? Me, I was waiting for you. How about the work? That is the most important thing, the work. His work and our responsibility is the most important thing. Don't focus on the next incarnation, or don't focus on the re-coming of the Satya Sai avatar. This is all beyond our control, as I must say. You know. If something you cannot control, don't focus upon it. Our focus should be the work. And by the way, yesterday I told Brother Suresh as well, I've attended many conferences, but yesterday was the most incredible experience last night when I saw this entire interfaith on stage, and especially the Muslim leader when he came and spoke. It's a groundbreaking convention, this, and the entire world must know about what happened last night.
Sarah. They've just said very beautifully what we should be doing as far as Swami's message is concerned, as far as Prema Sai is concerned, whether he comes or not. Each of us were called to Swami because he decided that we were worthy of his call. So it's now for us to live up to his expectation. If we continue, we all know each one of ourselves. Each one of us, we know ourselves, how much we are trying to transform ourselves and then going out and trying to do work for Swami. So if we continue the way we are or the way I am, Prema Sai may decide that he doesn't want to see me, you know. So it's up to us that he should want to see us again by the way we are practicing his message and going out into the society and practicing. So he picks us, we don't pick him. So we have to be worthy of it.
And now this is a very, very earth-shattering question. At meal times, brothers and sisters sitting and eating together is healthy. Given opportunity to mix and discuss and exchange information, ideas, and develop network for working together. But now we all are seated separately. You? You means why? You know, for example, I was also very sad because every time breakfast I will sit with my wife. And now she's sitting on the other side and I'm sitting here. Very disappointing. Depressing. Why, brother? Why?
The problem is, if you sit with your wife, it's okay. But you may end up with a lot of other wives, okay?
Network, brother, network.
Dear devotees, actually, basically, why are you sitting like this separately? Why? Why don't you ask that question? You have the lady sitting beside you, you can chat with her while the sessions are going on anyhow. Why? Swami is just, it's a practice Swami has imposed upon us, okay? While you're sitting at one table, in the coffee table there outside, you all be sitting down very close, like this, crowded, and they're rubbing each other, unnecessarily this thing. There's nothing to prevent you after going out and chatting everybody. See, who's preventing that, okay? So it's to prevent this unnecessary, very close proximity, and contact like that we keep the separation, you see. And of course, all of you know, in other environments, you're doing it all the time. At least in this environment, so you keep the thing. The other time you can talk to them, no problem, you see. So I think, we also would like be happy, we also, okay, what's the harm, But not everybody has the same thought in their mind, really. When they sit beside a lady, or a lady sits beside a young man, they will not, so just keep it humbly, don't worry. You can have a lot of chats outside. That's why all these workshops are done, really. Do we keep the workshop, ladies' workshop, men's workshop? Mix every time.
This, the other one or two questions also have come about. Why is it that there are not many ice-breaking sessions? You want to know people, you want to network. Swami told Kudamba Rao once in Puttaparthi that a lot of devotees are coming to ashram and they are networking. They are not, he didn't use the word networking, they are interacting with other people. And this is not association. Ashramam means without shramam, you must come to God. That's why it's ashramam. Without difficulty. So here you have not come to know other people. Here you have not come to know your neighbors. Here you have come to know yourself. And that is why we have kept the sadhana atmosphere like that. I'm sure this is one of the answers that they wanted to give. I quoted them. Okay. The other thing is that in the workshop session also, we noticed the gents kept to themselves and the ladies kept to themselves, and even the youth session, we had the female and the youth all separately. There's a special reason for it. Sometimes in some workshop sessions we do have that kind of interaction, but the workshop discussion this time was more focused on certain specific areas which we wanted you to openly discuss without the influence of the other gender. So this is why we said that.
There's more, frankly, I was observing the seating arrangement myself. Okay? I was not so concerned about the ladies sitting there and chatting among themselves and then the men sitting there. I was more concerned of one thing. Here we are talking about interfaith, unity. But I see all the Indians will sit in one table for lunch. All the Chinese sit together for lunch. Look at our mentality. Next time, don't talk about mixing with the ladies. Ladies, Indian ladies, Chinese will sit together. Men sit together, Chinese all sit together. Not that, why must you go say, hey, hello brother, how are you? I don't know them. This is the time for you to interact, you see. Hey, brother, where are you from? Let's talk. Then this is what we should do. So let's start with ourselves first, okay? Mixing among our brothers, mixing among our sisters, regardless of race. Almost what we see in university, I saw the function. All the Chinese students sitting on one table, having their dinner or lunch, and all the Indians sitting together, So this is very, very disturbing. But I mean, it's a consciousness thing. Next time we will announce.
No, next time. Now, after this session, after tea, when you go back now, every time you see that Indian group, quickly go and sit in the Chinese table. The Chinese table, moment you see Chinese, you go and sit in the Indian table. That's it. Action plan immediately after this.
We are going to take photographs of that.
Photograph. You take photograph. Now, brother, this is one very important question. In the process of honoring parents, how do we handle situations where our own parents are not practicing human values? They're not practicing. Sometimes we find traits of our parents dishonorable. How, brother? How? Please advise.
This is a very good question, okay? Very good. You know why? Because the parents never went through the Bal Vikas programs, okay? But more than that, I tell you, what Swami has said, okay? Not Swami said, the Vedas are telling this. Okay? Swami also said this. A child, you want God's grace, okay, the fastest way. One, of course, is to be devoted by father and mother. But if you find your father and mother are not following the dharmic way, okay, and if you can, through your love and your sincerity as a son or daughter, bring the father and mother to the proper path, no greater God's blessing for you in this world. So they haven't gone through Bal Vikas program. Even, actually, frankly, some Sai devotees, after so many years, they're still going, there's still all kinds of nonsense going on, okay? So Swami has talked so many times, so omniflows listen, they go look at Swami. So don't worry about that. You should be the power. So if you can do that, then you bring them. Don't try and follow their bad habits, okay? Your parents may be drinking. They were drinking before. Now, so I tell you here, if I ask a show of hands here, if I ask for a show of hands, how many devotees here who were smoking and drinking before Swami came to their lives, and after stopped, you'll see virtually 3/4 of the hall may put up their hands, okay? I met some people who say, Jaga, I was smoking, drinking, now I stopped all because Swami, So Swami has that transformation power, you see. Like all of us, virtually 80% of us were non-veg people before. Now, virtually I think all of us are veg, okay? Not that the only vegetarians go to heaven, okay? Let me tell you this, okay? All the Christians, Muslims, all they want to go to heaven, they also go to heaven, But how do you conduct yourselves, It's the most important thing. So children, if you have such parents, please transform them. Heavens will your name there waiting for you. Not so soon, but it'll wait for you eventually.
Probably that's why, to illustrate that this problem will come in this yuga, Prahlad had a father, Hiranyakshipu. Your father cannot be worse than his father. He has a terrible father, Hiranyakshipu, very horrible father. And such a monstrous father. Until finally they had to kick the pillar and the pillar opened and Narasimha Rao came out. So Narasimha came out and then literally re-engineered his personality and rescued the father. So I think that's basically, the God has shown the formula. Every disastrous and monstrous parents are blessed with divine children as lasso ropes to bring the parents to God. Because God also loves such parents. But it is through children who can bring such parents to God. Okay, now